Hey, so recently I posted on my stories Ask Me a Question, and I'm kind of getting used to doing that because it's fun. But one person asked me, how or why did I start teaching? And I figured I would answer it in more of like a long answer, but we'll see what I can do in 3 minutes. So let's have a little story time about my weird teaching journey, I guess. So I started in 2014. I started teaching Spanish, and it was an interesting program because it was for kids who were learning Spanish in a rural area. And we, through the university, were able to provide programs for them to learn. So the teacher would be there, they would teach the material, but they were not able to grade the homework. So we would get on the phone, because this was like not Zoom vibes, this was like a phone call, and I worked with a bunch of high schoolers and I graded their homework. So that was kind of the initial spot. I then moved to Salamanca for a semester and I ended up working at an English school there, helping assist with conversation and kind of getting people out of their shells a little bit to be able to get them speaking English. Came back to the US, finished university, and then moved to Galicia for a year. I did a program called Auxiliares de Conversación, which is basically like a teaching assistant at a school. And I worked with kids in this really small town in Galicia to practice English. We used grammar, but we also did like games, vocabulary. I taught them how to play Ninja. I don't know, it was really fun. So I got to kind of teach, but also just encourage language to communicate and connect. The next year, I moved to Madrid and I was there for a year and I worked in a high school there too. And I did a little bit more like classroom based. I would go in and help the other teachers. I would give like presentations or PowerPoints and things like that and talk about stuff I liked, but using English as well to get them involved. I then started teaching online because I wanted to have a bit more flexibility. And I taught little kids in China for like how many years? Oh my gosh, maybe 4 years, and teaching little kids English. And that was fun. And then that ended, and I started working on another platform, which I still have a few people there, but I mostly just do my own scheduling now. And I started working with adults. I worked with teenagers and some kids, and then I worked with like professionals, students, everybody. And that was more individual one on one classes for conversation, confidence, vocabulary, and all that. And I did that while I was living in Brazil. I'd really started the adult classes when I was in Brazil, did that for like 4 years, and I'm still here. So if you have any other questions, let me know.